You know that feeling, right? Your heart just starts hammering against your ribs. Your mind goes completely blank, and all those brilliant ideas you had, poof, they're just gone.
Yeah, that feeling of dread is something else. But look, the real question isn't why it happens. We can talk about fight or flight all day. The question that really matters, the one you're probably asking yourself is, how long is this going to last? When does this actually start to get better?
Well, here's the answer. For most people who really commit to consistent, structured practice, you can expect to see a real, meaningful drop in your speaking anxiety in about 4 to 12 weeks. Now, that's not a magic trick. We're not talking about eliminating it completely. We're talking about a real, noticeable reduction.
So what does meaningful reduction actually look like? It's not about waking up one day and never feeling nervous again. Not at all. It's about that fear becoming manageable instead of paralyzing. And here's the biggest change. You stop letting that anxiety make decisions for you. You stop turning down opportunities to speak up and share what you know.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this actually happen? It's not random. It follows a pretty clear path. Think of it as a 12-week roadmap that takes you from that initial panic to a whole new level of confidence.
So here's how we break it down. For the first couple of weeks, you're not even focused on giving a big speech. It's all about understanding the mechanics, learning that this anxiety is just a physical reaction, not some personal failing. Then weeks 3 and 4, you dip your toe in the water with some early exposure. This could be as simple as recording yourself on your phone. And yeah, it's going to feel a little weird, but you learn that you can handle it. The real work happens between weeks 5 and 8. This is your main exposure window. You start tackling slightly bigger challenges, maybe practicing in a mirror, then for a friend. Your brain literally starts to learn that, hey, this speaking thing isn't actually a life or death threat. And finally, weeks 8 to 12 are all about consolidation. You take everything you've learned in practice and start applying it to the real world. That's how you build real, lasting confidence.
But before we go any further, we have to do something really important. We need to redefine what overcoming this fear actually means. Because honestly, the goal you have in your head might be setting you up for failure.
So many of us think the finish line is zero fear. No nerves, no butterflies, nothing. But that's a total myth. I mean, the most experienced professional speakers on the planet still get nervous. The real goal, the one that actually works, is getting to a place where the fear doesn't stop you. You feel the nerves, sure, but you get up there and you do it anyway. The anxiety doesn't get to run the show anymore.
Now, that 4 to 12-week timeline is an awesome target to shoot for, but let's be real, it's not the same for everybody. There are a few key things that can really shape what your personal timeline looks like. Things like how severe your anxiety is to begin with, or your past experiences, they definitely play a part. But let's focus on the 2 biggest factors you have complete control over: how consistent you are and the type of practice you do. Look, consistency is everything. Practicing for just 10 minutes, 5 days a week is way more powerful than cramming for an hour on Sunday. And the type of practice is so crucial. It has to be what we call exposure. You can't just think your way out of this fear. You have to do your way out of it.
And that brings me to the single biggest mistake that keeps people stuck, sometimes for their entire careers. It's this mental trap that is so easy to fall into. Just let that sink in for a second. We wait. We wait until we feel ready. We tell ourselves we'll start practicing when we're not so scared. But that's completely backwards. Readiness isn't some magical feeling that just shows up on your doorstep. It's something you build. It's the result of taking action, not the other way around. So please, if you hear anything today, hear this. Your first practice session is going to feel awkward. Your second and third probably will too. And that is not a sign that you're failing. It's the sign that it's working. You make progress through that discomfort. By the time you get to your 10th session, you'll look back and realize things feel completely different. That's the whole game. That's the point. So what's the big takeaway here? It's really this simple. You have to start before you feel ready. That's it. Progress begins the second you take action. Now, structure tools, like the Nervous Lab that a lot of this research comes from, are built around this exact 12-week timeline to help guide you. But whether you use a tool or not, the rule is the same. The first step on a 12-week journey is always day 1. So the only real question left is today going to be yours?